Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, Tom and I are going to be discussing how the service delivery of a client changes throughout a project length. For example, we sign a client for 4 to 6 months. It's not as simple, is it, as getting one landing page up for a product, getting some ads up, and running that for 6 months. Like, I want to talk in this video about how we spot these changes. For example, we had a client where we've completely stopped the landing pages and now we're pushing them to landing pages on their website through a completely different booking system than what we did at the start. We've got one client that started with one course. Now we're changing it to another course 2 weeks later. Like that process. And I think lots of clients, lots of agencies, sorry, especially beginner agencies, won't do that because they think it's very rigid. They think, right, we start on day one, we do this, but it's such a dynamic process, isn't it?
I think like this is the key thing which people don't talk about is if people go into this thinking it's all running ads on Meta, easy because it's all Facebook ads. So run ads on Facebook to a landing page, happy days. And it's not like you have to be really attentive to your client. We've had clients that we work with, mate, haven't we? Where we're on Meta and then we switched it to TikTok. And then we've gone, actually, can we get better results with Google ads? And we switched it to Google ads. And we're actually we're changing the platform. Then some of our clients surprise us and they're like, yeah, you know that product we're pushing, or this particular training course, or you know how I said I want to promote Botox for the next 4 months. Yeah, we've got 4 members of staff who are off now, so we're not going to do that. So
Yeah.
we can only promote filler, and it's not even a filler at this site; it's a filler at this site. And we're like, fuck, like
Or
now
or like or they
we
or we'd be selling a £13,000 product which was on payment plans. Then their payment plan provider pulls their contract. So now we can't advertise that because no one's going to have the money. So then we have to shift completely into a brand new product. Like it's so dynamic, isn't it? But also
yeah,
it's not always the client saying, Tom, Harry, this is the change. We
no.
preempt those changes more often than not. Like Tom and I will have a meeting about it and be like, right, the results aren't really optimal. Let's change this. Let's switch platforms. Let's look at what other services like. It changes all the time, doesn't it? I think that's why, mate, we keep clients for so long because we
Well, I was
constantly
going to say,
look at it.
I was going to say, it's really important that you have things like this up your sleeve when you're dealing with a client. So say you've signed a client on I'm going to say 6 month basis, but to some people that's really unrealistic. All right. So let's say 3, because I think if you're not doing a 3 month contract guide minimum, then what you've got to have a question about what you're doing. So let's say 3. You've got to have things up your sleeve, like new things you bring service wise to the table. Because when you get to the end of month 2, you can then say, right, I've looked at it and I think we need to go into this direction and I'd like to implement this. It gives you like a fucking great reason to
Yes.
extend that 3 month contract to implement the new ideas you've put forward.
Yep. Yep. And
And
also I think it's a prime example of coming to a meeting with solutions, not problems. Like you said that to me all the time, mate, really early on in our agency when we joined them together, which was we can't go to a meeting with a problem without a solution because they'll turn around to you and say, well, what are you doing about it? Like if we say if we said to them, oh, like on an ad review meeting, oh, we're not getting this cost per lead because the content's shit. Well, they'll go, okay, you need to come to that meeting with, right, the reason why this cost per lead is not good enough and why it's not at this level is because we don't have enough content. Here's a content plan. I need you to turn around in the next 5 days so we can get there.
yeah,
So it's
and we're good.
you're constantly telling them, this is what we need to progress things. This is what we need to progress things. People lose clients, and you're probably losing clients, is because you're getting on these meetings and you seem shocked at what the client's telling you. The client will say, Tom, Harry, we've not closed a single lead in the past 2 weeks. And you'll go, oh, really? I didn't know that. Let me, da, 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 da. Well, that's not good enough. Like that, you should be
No.
seeing that from your CRMs. You should be seeing that from your spreadsheets. Like that's so you come to that meeting telling them that you know that they've not converted them, and here's what you're going to do about it. It's what
Yeah.
pisses off the client is them saying, what are you going to do about it? Because that's what they're paying you to do.
Thing is, mate, no one, and I said this again in our agency early doors, is nobody likes, you cannot have any surprises with
Yes.
your client. So if there's no leads coming in, or hasn't been any leads for say a week, that shouldn't be a surprise to the client. It should, or sorry, it shouldn't be a surprise to you. So when you go on the call, you should be addressing it straight away before them to say, right, I've actually looked at it over the last week. We've not had any leads for last week, and I know this. So this is what we've done about, and this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And to preempt it, I've done it. You can't, no one likes surprises
Or,
at
mate,
all.
or what I've seen, mate, where people get on a call and they pretend that's not an issue. Like they get on, and this happens right with people that are really naive, and that probably like the 18, 19-year-olds. I've seen it in the academy, or I've seen it in the early stages of someone joining the academy because they've sent me the recorded call. And it's like they get on a call knowing that the ad's not performing well, and they just say, how's everything going? And they let them rant to them about how shit the last 2 weeks have been. It's a complete disaster. It's like I said, mate, you've completely done that completely wrong. You should have got on the call with, here's the problem, and this is what we're gonna do, and make them feel like you know more about that problem than they do.
This is that, but this comes down to, and the whole video is about service delivery and how having to adapt. And it's really just thinking outside the box, guys. You know, you should, as a marketing company, if you know Black Friday is coming up, or you know Mother's Day is coming up, or whatever day is coming up, you should be able to think, okay, how does that benefit the client? Like, I'm going to come to them with some ideas, and maybe it might need a new landing page for this particular event that they're having, and you should be bringing that to the table. There's nothing worse than they go, so what are we doing for Black Friday? Well, what would you like to do for Black Friday?
Yeah.
But you're my market. I remember when I first started getting into this years and years ago, I remember a guy I knew was doing what I did. He had his own business, and he said that he lost a client in the US, who sold training courses. I've not told you this story. And you actually know the person too. They lost the client because the client said, well, what are you doing on these events of the year? One was Black Friday, one was Christmas, one was, I think, I don't know, something else. And the client was like baffled as to why this person wasn't on top of this. And we're like, why? But you're my marketing team. What do you do? And he went, well, I just run ads for you. I run ads and the landing page, but you've got to come with me with the things you want, and I'll run the ads. He lost the client. He lost the client instantly. Well, not instantly. He lost the client the following month because they found that very unappetizing. Like they found it not in line with marketing as a general concept.
It's a reactive agency versus a proactive agency.
Oh, a very one-dimensional service-based agency versus a proactive, dynamic one.
It's the type of service you get. I'm not being stereotypical because this is just true. Like if you were to hire a virtual assistant in like India or Pakistan, because we use them for different parts of our business, that's a reactive service. That's a reactive service delivery person where you tell them what to do and they do it. They're not going to come to you with ideas. Whereas, which is why our agency and people and proactive agencies can charge $2-3 grand a month, because why would you pay $2-3 grand a month for a reactive marketing agency when you can pay someone in India £200 a month to run your Facebook ads? The reason why people pay us $2 grand a month, $5 grand a month, $7 grand a month is because they want our expertise. They want us to take hold of their marketing and tell them what to do. I think that's the difference, mate. That's what classifies someone as someone who can charge the amount of money that we charge. Because why else would you do it?
Well, there's a big thing though where people think this setting up a marketing agency, or what was called and is kind of still called a social media marketing agency, is they think that you set this up and it's autopilot and you're on to the next and everybody's happy. There's no one in this industry other than me and you talk about the relationship management aspect of this job. It's a business like any other business, whether you're selling cakes in a fucking market stall, or you are a dentist, or you own a social media marketing company. You have to be one-to-one with your clients. You can't be faceless, hide behind it. So many people teach like win a client, set up the service delivery, and it's autopilot. You're on to the next, and you can have 20 of those running a month, and it's all done and automated for you.
Why do you think no one speaks? Because you're spot. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about it. Even the people that I quite like in the industry, which is very few, I've never heard them talk about it. I've
But
never
yeah,
heard anyone talk
but
about it.
here's the thing: when you speak to our clients, the one thing they hold a lot of value to is regular weekly meetings on Zoom, where we talk about the project. We have the updates, the financial updates, the lead updates, the brand updates, the future brand updates. They love getting on calls with us because it settles them. No, they like to know that we're doing our job and we're working hard for them. But like, it's a real valuable thing is the communication and how quick we are and how dynamic we are, and every business is evolving. If you're just running one service for one industry and you're just letting it run and you're on to the next, that means that business doesn't change. So the business you're working with is just really stagnant. Like, that's what they offer, that's all it is. Off we go. We're going to just let that grow. Just more ad spend, scale, scale, more ad spend, scale, scale, more ad spend, scale, scale.
It doesn't work like that.
Happy customer, happy customer, happy customer. Right, where's the next one? Okay, this one's growing. Okay, here we go. Here's the chain, and everyone's happy, and this is great. There's never any like fall. You can't see what I'm doing if you're listening, but I was just using my hands and waving around. But in general, it seems to me that like people genuinely, people don't talk about losing clients. They don't talk about service delivery and how it changes. They don't talk about the communication. It's like, it's bizarre to me.
Why do
Which
you
is
think
why I
that?
know we'll win. It's why I know we'll win, and our students will fucking win, because we teach the fact that you have to have weekly meetings. You have to bring your problems to them first before they identify it as a problem and ask you what's going on. Like, that's why we keep our clients, and that's why we sign clients on 9 months, 12 months, 18 months like we have before.
Why do you think people don't talk about it, mate? Why are we the only people that
Not
talk?
attractive. It's not attractive. Everyone wants to have a business that is very high in profit margins, very low in
Doing
your
anything?
time
Yeah,
and doing
effort.
it. Yeah, effort and low in time. And it should be, the word autopilot is thrown around, and it's just, it's so interesting. I get hit. We talk about this. I don't know how much time we've got left, mate, but we see certain ads that target us with guarantees, and I can add 30 qualified booked appointments to your business, or you don't pay, and I'll shoot you a 3K check for wasting your time.
Yeah.
Right. We've tried those people. It didn't work.
I know. Do you know why I think it is, mate? I think I know what it is. I think you see all these people online, and there is a minority, which you and I don't mind. Like, we actually think do have the agency they say they do, but 99% of them, I don't want to be this typical person who just slags off the Instagram gurus, because it does get boring. Just all you do is like just shit on people. But there's two things that I think it is. The people that are advertising, the people that are making content, majority of them had an agency ages ago, scaled it to a point, but never kept it at that point. So the typical person that you see on these ads where they're saying, I can do XYZ for you because I took my agency from 0 to 50K a month. What if you actually do it? And I know this for a fact for quite a few of them. They started their agency, they scaled it to 45K a month and had one 45K month. They realized they couldn't service those people well enough. So over the next 3 months, lost every single one of them. And their agency does that. So they have one massive month. The retention is horrendous. They lose them all. So, and then in these ads, and when they're selling their courses or they're selling their agencies services to other agencies, not local businesses like or e-commerce brands like we teach, they can say they've taken an agency from 0 to 50K a month, but they've not kept it there. And that it's not 50K in profit, it's 50K in revenue. They outsourced it all, then they lost the client after 1 to 6 weeks. And then they've taken that metric in the e-commerce lead generation space, and now they're selling agency services to other agencies. But scaling an agency that works with agencies is completely different than scaling an agency that works with local businesses, e-commerce brands like you and I work with. Completely different. So they're leveraging.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, mate, but when you talk about like, it really, it's actually, the more I think about this, mate, the more we talk about this, the more horrifying it actually becomes. Because let's, like, if you're just winning a client, service delivery, and then you're on to the next, and it's a revolving door of clients. You know how people use that term, like they're in, and then some leave and they're coming in. I think about, there's a big push on like medi-spas, clinic practices. People tend to be going after those. 5 years ago, it was dentists. Now it's moved to like medi-spas and the clinic industry. And there's a few others that knock around like landscaping, kitchen design teams and stuff like that. But when I think about the owners of these businesses, which fundamentally do all make the decision, they may have one or two practices, but it tends to be one location or two or three locations, and it's owned by one practice owner, one owner, or maybe two or three owners who own the group, and then you've got the managers within it. I think about them as business people, and they want you to work incredibly hard for them. Like, they want to speak to you, they want to challenge you, they want to push you. Like, and some of them are really sweet people too, and actually to treat them in a manner where you're just offering one thing, one ad, like one or two secondary ads, landing page, and you think you've cracked it by just implementing one simple strategy. I think it's horrifying, because these people deserve so much more than that. You should be on your toes. You should be do multiple different services. You should be reacting to the industry, the market, edging out the competition. That takes a lot of calls and brainstorming, and you've got to build a relationship with these people. This is the one thing of business owners, guys. I can tell you now, business owners of any nature, whether you're a practice owner, you're the principal dentist, they like relationships with the people they are working with, whether it's staff or whether it's Harry, Tom, whatever. They like a relationship. They like to know we've got kids, or we're getting married, or we went on holiday to Barbados. They're interested in us as people, and we are as them. And there's nothing that teaches. I feel sorry for people who've bought courses off gurus. I feel sorry for them, because they don't teach you how to speak to a person and how to actually work with that person who's a business owner one-to-one.
Yeah, it's a skill, mate. It's just a shame. Yeah, you put it perfectly.
We've had clients crying to us on the phone. We've had the same client crying to me one day, and then crying to Harry the next day about the demands the business is under and the risks she's taking working with us. And it's kind of shit or bust. Like, we've had those calls, and they know that we're expensive, but they want to work with the best. So it's a $3,000 retainer, and it's like, holy fuck, $3,000 over 6 months. That's going to be XYZ. And then I've got ad spend on top of it. Holy fuck. And then I've got three front, I can't follow up the leads, or I haven't got this, and we've had them crying to us. And if we hadn't have been experienced enough to deal with that, and then change, and actually following that, we changed up what we did. We made a whole bunch of changes to the project, and we kept them for like another 6 months. And it's like,
they weren't crying because they hate us. They were crying because of like the outside stuff. Yeah, and they were going through like a court thing.
Utter stress. It was a stressful period for them, but like, you don't get taught that. And I feel sorry for people who bought courses where all they're teaching is transactional stuff, not human emotion. It's really tough.
It is. I think I know that video guys started off as how things change, but I think it's all relevant, and it's just, I do find it bizarre. I find it really bizarre, mate, that I can't find one video of someone talking like this, or a podcast. I can't. It's always, I don't know. It's bizarre. I find it strange. Like, it's very weird. I think this
makes it feel like running a marketing company is all a on switch, off switch, and you want to win as many people as you can that have got the on switch on, and then eventually, and then that's problem solved. You're done. That'll work. You're done. But we have our conversations with some of our clients about our creatives and if they liked them.
Yeah, I think what people forget, like, what's skewed this all is, and it's not just the SMA industry, it's like the drop shippers, it's the Forex gurus, the 18-year-olds driving Lamborghinis in Dubai that have no experience running any business that generates a significant amount of revenue, dealing with staff members. It's all fairy dust. It's not real. So like when you speak to someone, and it's so, when you run a real business, it's so easy when you listen to people speak, whether they actually run a fucking business that produces a high amount of revenue. It's so fucking easy. And if it was that easy to launch something on fucking TikTok and make 50 grand a month, everyone would be a fucking millionaire, because it's not. There's been schemes like this forever. And that's why I know people will say you're being hypocritical because we sell a course and we push a course. But hopefully, if you've watched our channel for longer than fucking 10 minutes, you'll know that we don't talk about the course in that way. And in every part of the course, we say you're gonna have to fucking work hard. And we say to people on it, if you're not going to work hard, don't get in the academy because you're not going to make any fucking money. You're not.
Don't buy it.
Yeah, please don't buy it. Go buy fucking, couldn't really give a shit who you buy because that's not what SMMA is about. But if you're going to work seriously hard, stick to what we say and build a real business that looks after your clients in an ethical way, you can make a serious amount of money. Replace your 9 to 5 and take it to wherever you want. If you just want 4K a month extra to take your kids on holiday, if you just want to earn, replace your 9 to 5 so you have time with your kids or with your family, or you want to retire your mum or whatever, it can be so easily done. But what it isn't is you sign a client, get some Facebook ads up with them, move on to the next, and it's just a fucking shit show. It's not that. It's a real business that no one ever talks about, because I think half the people that talk about it have never fucking run one for a long period of time. They get loads of clients, get it up to a high revenue point so they can say it, then sell a course of how they got there, but they've not stayed there. It's extremely difficult to stay there. You and I, mate, could take on 20 clients tomorrow at £1,500 a month if we wanted to, but we don't because we wouldn't be able to deal with it and we wouldn't be able to service them. But we couldn't, could we? Because we can only take on a certain amount of clients at a time. And then we could we could come on here, do a YouTube, do a TikTok ad saying we got our agency to 150K a month. Well, how much profit did you make? How happy were they? How long did you keep them for? They're all the things that no one ever fucking talks about.
Never talk about how happy clients are, how difficult clients can be. You know, it really undermines business owners. It really undermines the industry. And, you know, business owners are real people who expect a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, not just a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I agree.
Regardless of making money, even the ones, just before we sign it off, even the ones like Harry said in this call, maybe in the last video, even the ones where we're making the money, we still work really hard to tell them that we're making the money because they know it, but to reflect on the fact that if we pulled this all out now, the effect that will have on their company. And sometimes they don't realize it. They get very, you know, caught up in whatever. But there we go.
Yeah. Well, hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Please subscribe. Please continually follow us on the podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube, we post these as audio files on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, literally everywhere to listen on the go. And yeah, so please continue following, listening. And if you have any questions on anything we talk about, message me on Instagram, Harry_SMMA, Tom_SMMA, if you have any questions for Tom. And yeah, the DCA 3.0 is in the link in the description. Check it out. Good video on there. And yeah, we shall see you very shortly for the next video.